Welcome to another episode of Truly Bedrock. Today, we're going to be designing and building a ton of auto storage, auto crafting, water filtering item streams, and so much more in our mega base. We have plans for 20 plus farms in this area, so we need quite a bit of infrastructure to handle all of those items without just running hoppers all over the base. This is a completely unique system, so we're going to run into a lot of weird problems that we're going to have to solve on the fly, so it's going to be fun. Let's hop into it. So by the end of the episode, we should be able to properly finally use our octuple gold farms that we have built. These things produce probably like 80,000 plus items per hour, and we have not had the infrastructure to actually handle any of that, but we will later. Now, the first thing that we need to do to handle this is install my favorite bug in the game. That way we can move the experience up to the AFK spot. So one of the best bugs on Bedrock Edition is the fact that you can make invisible bubble columns, so we can remove all of the water from these bubbles and have, well, just bubbles. So because we have 4 of them, it's a little bit more complicated, but it's still really easy. We're just gonna put powdered snow, all of these, and maybe that's not actually gonna be that easy. It's making infinite water sources. Okay, we do 3 at a time. We do 3 at a time. We're gonna get rid of this one for now. If they ever get rid of this bug, we are burning down Minecraft. I just want to let you guys know that, so you're prepared. Okay, that actually worked. So as you can see, it's actually flowing away the snow how it should. That's what we want. Now we just place one there. That's going to get rid of that water. It'll be flowed away. And then same thing is going to happen on this one right here. And then that one right there. So yeah, now we got some invisible bubbles. And then I don't think we can pick up this snow with like a bucket, because I don't think it actually exists. Yeah, I can't click on that to pick it up, but we can flow it away. It's kind of a ghost block right now. This is pretty expensive on powdered snow, so you want to make sure you know what you're doing, which I clearly did not. So after much trials and tribulations and troubles, we wiped out all the water from the bubbles. So now all you got to do is just like flood them real quick. A little bit of water. That wipes out all the snow. And as you see, we still have a whole bunch of bubbles in here. So that works out really well. And now we just have to fill in this 4th one right here, which I don't think will be a problem. If it is, I don't know if I'm emotionally prepared for that. Guys, I'm so good at breaking this game. I don't even try. It just happens, okay? It just happens to me. That took way too much time and effort, and going up and down all that was quite tedious. But now we can remove all of these signs right here, and we still have our bubbles. So all the experience from the gold farms is gonna go straight up to the AFK spot, which is going to be looking nice, and then all of the items will go down. Welcome back to issue 5423 of how ray tracing is broken in just every way imaginable. So I think if I even move slightly, it's going to, oh geez, oh no. So the top part is looking much nicer now. We're gonna swap out all these blocks up here at some point for something different. And then downstairs, it's also looking pretty good as well. So if we turn on the ray tracing, it does actually work now. Looking fantastic. We also are installing the little water streams that are going to go down the middle. These are going to deliver the bulk amount of items from our big farms down to the 2nd layer, and that'll be for auto craftings. Now, a big redstone challenge is going to be figuring out the control panel right here, because we have like 22 or so different levers. Each one of these has to go off and power its own farm somewhere out in the base over there, and none of them can be cross-wired. So if we turn on this one, it can't turn on this one over here as well. So that's going to be interesting. What? Okay. I don't know how exactly I got in here. Man, I swear, I don't try, guys. I really don't try to break the game. But I do. It's just so often break this game in every way possibly imaginable. I mean, look at this garbage. Look at this garbage. Look at it. Look at this. I back up a little bit. It's just like... Okay, so I think we figured out the selector panel for the base. So originally we had some redstone blocks right here, but that was powering the lamps. So instead we have furnaces. Smelting furnaces. So now whenever we actually power this piston right here from the other side, that is going to move the furnace down. It'll be detected by a comparator. Now, for the middle ones here, these pistons are just going out and powering a repeater directly. But what we might also do out here is use some activator or powered rails, because those will get powered by the redstone block. And then we can detect that powering with like an observer and a copper bulb and kind of treat that as a redstone line. Might be a little bit easier, but we have some time until that's a problem. Okay, so we've mined out the 2nd layer of the base now. Of course, it looks hideous. Now we just need to go ahead and design a whole bunch of the item filters, a whole bunch of the water streams that feed those, and then also the auto crafting item filters as well. That'll feed into this whole secondary storage hall. It's gonna be like 2 or 3 layers of storage and auto crafting and stuff. It's gonna be kind of crazy. Okay, we can also test the gold farms now that we have all of our bubbles installed. So we have all the items and experience going down the lines. Looks like the experience is going up properly. Fantastic. I think that this is a great success. Yeah, so now we can stand here for, like, literally as long as we want. So yeah, now you can actually see all the items from the gold farms are flying into the walls, which is pretty fun. And then all that's going to go through the floor. You'll be able to see that in the ceiling of the floor below as well. That'll go off and get sorted and auto-crafted and stuff like that. So it's looking pretty good, actually. This is going to be a very active and alive center of the base with items going absolutely everywhere. We're going to have items in these streams, items in the middle, those streams, all of these, like, 8 water streams in the ceiling right here. Items going up and down the corners. It's gonna be wild. So those are some of the bits and bobs that we need to take care of for our storage infrastructure, but now we can actually start work on building the storage. So as you might know, we have 16 water streams in the ceiling. Each of one of those is going to carry a different type of item. So that means that each one of these walls has 4 water streams going back into it from above. We covered that in the last episode. And we also have these 3 bays of 10 chest walls here on the side. That's what's actually going to sort those 16 water streams. Now, in the floor, we also have these 4 other water streams. Technically, it's 8, but those go downstairs. We'll deal with those later. So with these 16 water streams in the ceiling, we need to set up a big ring of water streams going all the way around the outside edge and run those over some item filters here on the side. Now, I've actually already built up the item filters themselves because that's just really simple and easy. But figuring out the logistics for those 16 water streams is gonna take me some time. So designing and building all of that was fairly straightforward, but actually kind of a pain because it's a really, really compact area. There's absolutely no room to move around in there whatsoever. So I got a download of the world. That way I could show it to you in spectator mode because this is actually the easiest way. So items are going to flow in through the water streams here, hit the glass panes, and then they're going to float down into these streams. Some items will go left, some items will go right, depending on where they came from. But they're going to go up into the bubbles. That way they get into this other water stream right here. Now we have some grindstones here to actually align the items. That way they are in between these 2 blocks. The items go all the way down to the end here, fall down, and then they'll be lined up between these 2 blocks here. That way they can actually get picked up by our hoppers. Now, trying to show you that in survival would just literally not work, so that's why I had to get a download of the world. Now, we can actually see that in action if we just set up some auto droppers here for the 4 different colors of items. So these will match the water stream colors. So now if we are in the base down below, as you can see, we can see our items in the ceiling here. Really cool. And then all these items are going up the little bubbles into their water stream. Looking fantastic. They all get lined up. Some of them take longer than others, and that's why we have grindstones along the entire thing. But then all those items reach the end. They're all lined up on the proper edge. And then, as you can see, they all get picked up by our item filters here. So that's the general concept. I'm really happy with how that turned out. But you might be wondering, we have, 3 chest walls here, but there's actually going to be, 4 item outputs. So what the items are doing behind the selector panel is actually just going into a water stream here, looping around to the side. They're going over these item filters, and then anything that's not filtered on this side goes around to this side, gets filtered over here, and then goes around to this side and gets filtered over here. Now, anything that doesn't get filtered through those 30 item filters will just go down to the auto crafting level. So in theory, this system works great and all, but we've just ran into a little bit of a problem here. And you want to know why? Bedrock edition, that's why. So we're using these grindstones to line up the items in the water streams. As you've seen, that actually works pretty well. You've seen it work in action. However, if we throw some items against this grindstone right here, you're going to notice some problems, and that is that the items are moving really incredibly slowly, and that is not working. So what the items are doing is they're actually lined up too far to the left right here. They need to go a little bit more towards the center. That way they can actually slide over the ice, but also get picked up by the hoppers. Now you might think, oh, you could just use something like an anvil or a chest or a honey block or a cake or, any number of things, but absolutely none of those works. We tried them all, and what we found that actually works is amethyst clusters. Surprisingly, these have a very, odd hitbox shape, but if we throw some items against that, then you'll notice that they all lined up perfectly, and they actually get picked up by the hoppers as well. So that's actually a really simple solution that we have there. Now, the issue with the amethyst clusters is that there is quite a big gap between these two things, so I don't think we can really have them lined up like how we do the grindstones, but I want to do that anyway. So we're going to actually remove all those grindstones, just have a standard water stream right here, and then just loop it around the corner. The items will drop down right here, and then they'll get lined up on this edge, which is probably what we should have done to begin with. But so yeah, we just need to go rip out all the grindstones and completely redo the upper water streams for all three of these things. Because yeah, it's not just this side that we need to redo. I think this one might also be broken. So you heard that right. Minecraft Bedrock Edition has directional water streams, everybody. It's just like, I'm constantly surprised. So back in a creative testing world, we can demonstrate the directionality of items really easily. As you see on this side, it works great. All of those line up really, really well. But if we try that same thing on this side right here, as you see, all those items are going to move really slowly. So what I'm guessing is that the hitbox of items is actually skewed ever so slightly to the northwest. So that means that when they're on this slot right here, their hitbox is slightly further to this corner or something, and they just don't quite work out the same. And I'm not entirely sure if that's the case, but I would not be surprised at all if it is. Just off collecting some snow out here, and I noticed that we got like some old corrupted chunks, or new corrupted chunks, or just weirdness. Interesting. This is very strange. Hold up, are these actually real, or is this just my client being weird? Can I mine these? I can. Okay, so we can actually pick these up. Okay, so this is actually real. Not every day oh, hold up. No, it gets more weird. Hold up, we got a good bug here, guys. Look at this. What? Okay, this must have been some part of some cave. Can I light this up? No, it just floods. Oh, I ruined it. Jeez, I ruined it. Hold up, we got some good bugs right here. Now, here's something that you don't get to see too often either, and that is the bottom texture of water. If you look at it right there. Well, see, this is why you watch my content, for this exclusive Minecraft features right here. And yeah, this is a feature. Well, you think Mojang would add this to the game if they didn't want it? Yeah, so this kind of happens when you partially generate an area in 2 different updates. Generally, you're supposed to have biome blending to kind of fix this problem and avoid this, but you know what? That doesn't always happen. Okay, so we have the entire upper loop of items figured out now. That was a pain, but 16 item streams are condensed down into 1 water stream loop, and all the output from that doesn't get sorted on our 30 item filters will go down right here. But now we need to figure out the bottom 4 item streams. So these ones right here, these are our bulk item streams. Technically, there's 8 of these because, you know, this is too wide and there's 8 different inputs. Shut up. Doesn't matter. So what we're going to do is build another lower loop down here and then send those into our auto crafting array on the side. Now at the end here, we're really running out of space. We're actually going to have this water stream be directly underneath the hoppers of the item filters above. That's how, you know, out of space we are. So this isn't even going to be bubble columns because bubble columns actually create quite a few particles when items go through those. So I'm really trying to avoid those where I can. So this is just going to be like straight up water, and it's just going to float the items up and over into a little ice stream. Okay, so we've done a lot of work to figure out these water streams. We have the big loop installed at the top now for all 4 of our cardinal directions. So it starts over there and it just goes ahead, it picks up items there, picks up items there, goes into the corner. This one is also going in the corner as well. And then it's going to be going over our auto crafting array. So we're going to have a total of 9 auto crafters. The first one is going to be for our golden ingots, and that's going to be getting sent back into the water stream actually, and then it's going to be crafted into golden blocks. We have a bunch of other ones down here, and then this is just going to continue going down the line, and we'll have a whole bunch of other infrastructure over there, but that's for later. Be patient, we'll get to it. So now we just need to build up the actual item filters right here and the first auto crafter, and it should be pretty easy actually. Minecraft, please get it out of my inventory. So this is going to be our item filter. It's a little bit different than normal. You'll notice that we're not using like a target block or a piston or anything, and that is because those item filters actually go downwards. As you see, the comparator's at the top there, and then it goes downwards by like 3 blocks, and we simply do not have the vertical height to play with here. So this one only goes down by a block, and that's because the redstone's actually going up. It works exactly the same as any other item filter that you've ever seen. So we're actually going to be filtering out the items here, and they're going to be going over to a double chest. And this is where we get our auto crafter, which, you know what? I don't actually have any of. I'll be right back. Okay, so that is our item filter figured out. The items go over, they go down into the auto crafter, and then this is the most basic auto crafter that you can really get, basically. It is 9 redstone dust. So as soon as this thing fills up with 9 different items in here, you'll see that it fills up the redstone line, and bam, it just crafted me a packed ice. So yeah, we can make this compact basically anything that we want. Okay, this is my favorite type of redstone, where you literally just go ahead and you spam down all the redstone. You don't even need to think. And that might have been the entire reason why we're building this specific style of auto crafter, and it's just literally, you're just spam down redstone. Okay, so we have our entire bay of 9 auto filters and auto crafters in store now. It's all built up. However, we do have a problem, and the fact that I didn't figure this out sooner is all you really need to know about me. So, we have an octuple gold farm. A double gold farm can produce like upwards of 20,000 items an hour. So, if we assume that our octuple gold farm is like pretty mid, then it's going to be producing about 80,000 items an hour. Now, an item hopper moves 9,000 items an hour. We need about 8 rows of these just to sort out the nuggets and the ingots from the farm. So that's basically our entire bay right here. So we're going to build a secondary bay of auto crafters over here. We're going to move our entire like water stream system to have another bay of sorters right here just to pick up the nuggets and the ingots and auto craft those and send those into a slice over here. Okay, so we actually have plenty of room back here. Luckily, this is the one part of the base where we can actually expand the build if we need to. And if this problem occurred, like, literally anywhere in this general vicinity over here, then we would just be done. We would be doomed. Nuke the whole base, start over. But luckily, we actually have this nice little corner over here. We can just, like, put in some item filters. Anyway, so we're gonna have 3 of these for ingots. We're gonna have 4 of them for nuggets. I'm gonna leave some extra room on the side in case that's not enough. And that's just leaving some room for redundancy in our system. That way we don't need to redo more of this later on. Okay, so now we just need some item filters right here and 2 auto crafters and we're done. This also means that we can remove this auto crafter right here because it's not actually going to be producing the ingots. Okay, so this is our bay of whatever 7 item filters that we've got installed. This is set up for 4 nuggets, 4 ingots, and then actually there's no ingots in there. Somehow I broke it already. Please don't pay any attention to that. How did I, okay, you know what? We'll figure that out later. I definitely broke it at some point. All of our nuggets are going to be going into this auto crafter right here, which will then craft those into ingots. Boom. And then all of our ingots are going into this one, which will auto craft it into blocks. And then, or not, I guess. Anyway, so that's gonna send the blocks into this cell right here. Now, we do have this ugly redstone line connecting the two. Not much I can really do about that right now, so I'm not worried about it. So this room is, like, super ugly right now, so we need to change that. We're gonna build up all the walls, the corners, the floor, all that good stuff. And this is what the room looks like. As of right now, it's still pretty janky, but it is much better than it was. So I'm not entirely sure what's gonna go in this bay right here. That might be our multi-item storage system for, like, the bulk of all the resources that we have. And then we're gonna work on this bay right here. This is gonna be our auto sword smelting bay, but of course that bay is gonna complement the auto crafting bay that we have right here. The plan with this general back area, now that we have all the auto crafters installed, is to install 4 little item filters right here for the rotten flesh. That is going to trash all the rotten flesh somewhere back in that corner so we don't hear like a dropper. And then we're going to do a couple things on this side. So we're going to start putting all of our items into hoppers. We're going to sort out all the swords from everything that's not a sword. All the swords are going to go into a smelting array. We'll keep like a stockpile of like maybe 5 or 10 double chests of the gold swords. Anything that is more than that stockpile will go into the same trash can over here. And then anything that isn't a golden sword that like makes it to this point, we'll just throw into some sort of overflow chest. That'll kind of indicate to us whether or not one of our earlier slices in the system is full. Because remember, this water stream is the output from the entire base right now. So not only everything from the auto crafters, but also everything from these item filters up here. So if it doesn't fit in any of the 30 item filters or the however many auto crafters, then it'll just go to overflow. So a little bit of a jump cut here, but we have ourselves a furnace array figured out. So this is more or less what the front of this thing is going to look like. I just have 12 blast furnaces in there because of course those smelt swords twice as fast. This is the most basic furnace array that you can ever get. It's really just hoppers upon hoppers. I'm trying to cut down on noise in this area, so I'm not using any hopper minecarts or chest minecarts or rails or any of that stuff. And then we just have our sword storage going up here, and this is going to be filtered into by a couple of these little non-stackable item filters. So basically what happens here is the comparator is reading from this hopper. If it is a stackable item, like an ore or whatever, it only gives it a signal strength of 1, so it goes into the chest. But if it's a non-stackable item, like some shears, those will go downwards, and the first item actually gets stuck in here, but that's fine for our purposes. So we have 2 of these, 1 on either side, because we're gonna have a lot of swords. Now, this also has a little bit of an overflow detection in it, so these hoppers right here are facing to the side, but the items are gonna go downwards first. So it's going to fill up the entire furnace array completely full of swords, and then once all of this stuff onwards is full, then the swords will go over to the left and they'll start getting burned. Now this right here is really just a comparator powering a redstone dust, and that actually slows down the flow of items in here. So as you can see, it actually makes these come through like 1 at a time. And this is something I saw from Richard on our Discord server. This actually makes item filters a little bit more reliable, because if you didn't have this, like if it was just full constant items, as you can see, they're not blinking, and this can actually result in some items missing or skipping, or, you know, being a kind of weird. Now, I don't think that that would particularly matter for this specific use case here, but on standard item filters, that can actually cause items to skip there and end up in your overflow. So really, again, all this is just a comparator powering a block. You got a redstone dust powering the original hopper, and that just slows down the item stream a little bit. And now one of the last things that we need to do is just kill some zombies so that we can have their lovely, lovely flesh. That's really bad out of context, isn't it? Oh, I haven't seen that one before. Okay, you know, whatever. You know what the deal by now. We find bugs. This feels so weird, but now we actually have all the infrastructure required to run the gold farms, and we really went out of our way to build up a lot of storage for this, didn't we? Jeez, we could have been running the gold farms this whole time, had 1,000 levels, but we wouldn't have had any of the items from that. So we're gonna flick the lever and turn on the gold farms. We're gonna see how this all goes, and hopefully nothing is horribly broken. There's guaranteed gonna be something wrong. Well, you can hear all the items going through the water streams, and we're getting a lot of experience up here. Now it's just a matter of time of waiting for some of those items to make their way down to the storage system, and we'll see if any get stuck somewhere, I guess. Okay, so the items are falling down here. They're going into the correct streams, as you can see here. We're gonna hop over to the back side. We should see those items floating up and over, looking pretty good. We should also see some items coming from this direction. Yep, okay, so that's working. And then we have a bunch of ingots. Those go into those filters. Are we getting nuggets anywhere? We're getting nuggets. Those are going into those filters. Lovely. Okay, where is the rotten flesh? Rotten flesh is going into these filters. Looking good. We have swords going backwards over here. Some of them are going to go into this one. Some of them will go into this one over here. But none of them should end up in this chest or this one right here. And they should be going down into these furnaces, right? We should be getting some swords in here. Yeah, look at that. Okay, we got a sword. So it's going to take a few hundred swords before this thing is actually completely backed up and before they start going into overflow. So I'm not worried about having a trash can for that just yet, but we will install it. So I'm just going to go ahead and run these farms for a few minutes, and we'll see if any items end up where they shouldn't. Oh man, do we have a lot of items coming down through here. This is so nice to see. This is going to be just a fraction of what's actually going to be going through these water streams at some point, and that's really exciting, actually. So when I said we were going to have an ungodly amount of golden swords, I really was not lying. I just ran the farm for like maybe 3 minutes, and we've already backed up all of our sword storage into here, and that's on both sides. So yeah, I really wanted to get a lot more double chest of storage in here, but we don't have enough room vertically for that. I would actually generally recommend against sword smelting, but you know, I just felt like doing it this time because more automation and more gold. Oh, okay, so we've actually backed up our auto crafting system. Interesting. So that is a problem. This is already like, farm's been off for like 5 minutes now, so it is still crafting ingots over here and still crafting blocks. How many blocks do we have? We already have, what? That's insane. Okay, these farms are really good. So I've ran the farm for 10 minutes. Can you guess what happened? Swords! Oh, so many swords. We got swords over there. We got swords over there. We got swords over... I probably should have put some fuel into the furnaces. That would have been a smart way to go. But don't worry, we have so many swords. I thought that 4 item filters for flesh was going to be a bit much, but as you can see, each one of these has actually picked up items. So if we had less than 4, some flesh would have gone on to the end. And then it seems like we pretty much only need maybe 1, maybe 2 filters for the golden ingots, and all of our nuggets filters are actually getting filled up, so that's good. Now we do have quite the backlog of these nuggets in here, as you can see. There is a lot of these things. Definitely got to double the auto crafting speed for those. And otherwise, I've had a look around and it doesn't seem like any items are getting stuck anywhere. We do have a couple XP orbs ending up in places that they shouldn't, but I don't think there's really a good way to solve that, so I'm not too worried about it. And otherwise, I should probably go ahead and smelt down this beautiful, beautiful thing right here. So eventually, we're going to end up using the bamboo slabs to actually smelt all of these down. However, we don't have a bamboo farm yet, so maybe that'll be the next thing that we build in the base. And this is why you smelt the swords, because it might not seem like much, but that's a whole nother stack of gold ingots right there. Okay, we have way too much rotten flesh. I knew that was going to be a problem, so we're going to set up the trash line for that real quick. But first, there's something very important that we need to do, and that is just get rid of absolutely all of this cheese. This is genuinely such a bad and horrible system, but I cannot wait to show it to you. So I've added a couple bubble columns to either side of the furnace array. This side right here is going to be for all of the nuggets. We'll maybe add an auto crafter to that someday, but I'm just curious like how many nuggets and blocks and things we actually end up getting from smelting down all the swords, so that'll be fun to see. This left side bubble column is actually just for everything that's getting thrown away, so purely trash. It's basically the trash conveyor. So the rotten flesh system has an auto dropper on it now. Anything that gets tossed into there is just going to get shot out. These items are going to go along a water stream here, fall straight down, go into that water stream, and that just leads to the bubble column on the front there. Same thing for the sword overflow system. I just put an auto dropper on this thing as well, so all the extra swords will get spit out. They'll also fall down and go into that water stream, and then the top of the bubble column just comes up over here where all the items go into lava. Now, the normal and smart and elegant thing to do would be to move this lava source directly above that dropper or directly in front of that dropper, but no. Now, I'm not sure what to do with this left-sided chest right here. I just added it there because symmetry, but I'm thinking we'll fill that up with the bamboo slabs fuel, and we'll just have a nice little stockpile of it right there. And here you can see those elevators actually in action, so I kind of ran out of fuel on the furnaces, but we have a bunch of things getting burned right here, mostly just flesh, and then our little furnaces are smelting down all the nuggies for us. So, wow, we're getting quite a few. Oh, so that's a problem. This is actually more than 9,000 rotten flesh an hour. That's great. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. Well, that should do it. So much for my no hearing droppers in the base idea, though. Jeez. So as of right now, I think we finished all of the main storage, sorting, and auto crafting that we need to do for the majority of the base. From here on out, it's just going to be little things that we need to plug into the system. You know, maybe some refinements here or there. Our main multi-item storage system. And then something to go on this wall. I have no idea what to put there, so let me know what you think in the comments. And of course, there's quite a bit of decoration to do around here as well. Lots and lots of that. But in theory, we should be good to go to actually start building a ton of farms around the base. We have all the infrastructure ready to go and figured out, so we can just plug them straight into the auto sorting, straight into auto crafting, straight into trash cans and all that good stuff. And it should just be straightforward and fairly easy. We did all of the difficult parts of the base, actually building up the iron farms, the gold farms, the sorting and crafting. That was all the most difficult parts of the base, and that's why I wanted to do it first. But now it should be pretty easy breezy, just going through, plucking in a ton of farms absolutely everywhere. So that's gonna do it for today's episode of Truly Bedrock. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys down in the comments and in the next one.